Who doesn't want a no money down loan? You may be saying, I've never used USDA rural loans, but shouldn't you? What are you thinking? You're thinking that nobody qualifies, the income's too low? It's 103,500 for a family of four, 136,200 or something like that for a family of that was like mine, 3 kids. So a family of 5 or more to 8 is 136,200. So there's plenty of income for qualifying for the household income. And who doesn't want to no money down with 6% seller concessions? There's still a hurdle to home ownership, which is called the savings, the down payment, the skin in the game. USDA takes care of that. Then you add the 6% seller concessions. Then maybe you add some lender concessions, and bam, we're closing for nothing. USDA rural, look where it's eligible. You'd be surprised.
So yeah, I think you would be surprised where the eligibility is with rural. Just these yellow portions are ineligible. The remainder are eligible for 100% financing with a family income of 103,500, 136,600 for a family of 5 to 8. USDA increased their income limits. It's very accepting. Hopefully, there's even more in 2023's budgets, but for now, you want to follow the USDA rural. There is a web page that'll have eligibility not only for the home itself, but for the property geographically. You can confirm access. Ask me for this link to this document that I'm filtering through here. Or you can go to Seller's Guide, Products at Flagstar, pick the government products, and you'll, of course, find our product descriptions there. We even do Streamline Assist. Don't get too excited. It has to be Flagstar Bank serviced to be able to do those. But Flagstar will give you access to Gus to run as you're processing it to know if you're an approved eligible or if you're going to have to do a manual. We do down to 580 FICOs. Manual underwrites, as mentioned, we do manuals. 2941 is the typical ratios that you want to have on a refer. It can do slightly more, maybe a 2% more of a gap if you had reserves or some lack of payment shock, some other factors. There is a guarantee. That's the idea of this. Is the U.S. Department of Agriculture is guaranteeing this loan. So that's why we can go 100% financing with 580 FICOs, a 6% seller concession. And then some of you lenders, you want, to fix the problem of having customers that can get financing or get a mortgage. 100% financing is the answer. 6% seller concessions, and maybe you kick in a lender or credit or two in the pricing. With the way LLPAs are going on and adjusting with conforming loans, you're going to find more and more of this Govy stuff pricing attractively. Again, 1% upfront, 0.35 per month to pay the renewal annual. And there are some instructions. Once you get set up with USDA directly, we can have you give us that information, and we'll give you access through our system for Gus merging in and processing through with Flagstar. So credit standards on these will actually follow the handbook very closely, which is pretty kind. 3 years from a foreclosure, if you see. Bankruptcies are 3 years. Chapter 13 is a little different. You can actually do it while you're in. Repayment has been successful for 12 months. You can do it. Late payments, they're not tolerated of lates in the last 12 months to be acceptable credit. And again, we talked about 103,500 for a family of 1 to 4, 136,300. Check out who's available to this. It's not just out in the country. There's tons of eligibility geographically. Now with the income limits of 103,500 or 1, U.S. citizens, non-permanent resident aliens are also eligible, and all they need is an EAD to be documented as a legal non-permanent resident aliens. Property standards, pretty easy. It's not like they beat it up. It just, appraiser has to be FHA approved, and he has to be able to state that the property itself meets HUD Handbook 4000.1 standards. There is some, you got to meet the requirements for the proper drinking water requirements if there's a well. No big deal. That's pretty run of the mill and should be standard concern for any homeowner. There is one oddity about properties, basement kitchens. If it can be interpreted that there is free access to the basement, and this could be an in-law or rentable suite. They don't like that with the USDA's. These are meant, as a single family. Customers should discuss such properties with one of the GRH underwriters, and keep in mind you can always get a hold of Flagstar at USDA support at flagstar.com. We have flyers for you that can be customized. You find it under resources and marketing materials. You can even place your logo on the majority of the advertising. You need additional information, you'll be able to find the product descriptions at our seller's guide as well, or on all regs. We also have a submission checklist, a USDA loan. To be honest, don't be scared. Don't live in fear about getting involved in doing this great 100% financing with flexibility of credit. Do from a processing point of view, add in the document rural development form 3555-21, which is a small form that must be submitted to the underwriter by you. You're going to need CAVR, a clear CAVR, the credit alert interactive voice response system response. You get that on FHA loans, same through HUD's site. And then you can also run SAM out there. Here's a link that you go to. It's just double checking to make sure that none of the parties are on a barred list for government-backed guaranteed transactions. A couple of important notes. If you own a existing dwelling, you may be ineligible unless you've got all of these criteria. The applicants are not financially responsible for another agency guaranteed or direct home loan that is through Guaranteed U.S. Home Loan, USDA. The applicant is financially qualified to own more than one house. The applicant will occupy the home financed with the guaranteed loan as their primary. The current home owned, whether adequate or inadequate, no longer meets the applicant's needs. An example would be relocation due to a new job, requires a larger home provided for a growing family. Obtain a divorce, and ex-spouse will be retaining that property. The other thing on rental history, if you happen to be moving out of the home, keeping a property, you got to have a 24-month history before you can use rental income. And of course, then it's in the overall household income that we're looking at for these files of 103,500, Chapter 13 payments. So get involved in USDA loans. Email me if you've got questions. Great product. The help desk and the USDA support at flagstar.com can answer a lot of your questions. Thanks for your business as always. We appreciate it here at Flagstar.